If you're gonna come into my life, you have to add value emotionally, not just materialistically. We need to stop always looking at the material stuff, because some of these people can provide material things for you, but the emotional stuff is trash, so you're gonna be sad regardless. Hey sis, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla, and on my page we talk about self-love and self-growth, so go ahead and click the subscribe button, because I promise you are going to love it here. So as I'm looking at the screen, I cannot see anything, so you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to go ahead and take my glasses and put them on, okay? I've been in a phase of my life where I'm just like starting to really love every single part of me. And I used to, growing up, this is just me, mini story time before we start the video. Growing up, I used to wear contacts. I'm meant to wear glasses because my vision is very, very bad. I need glasses or contacts 24/7. And I hated glasses so much growing up. So I was like, I need contacts. And when I was wearing contacts, it was messing with my eyes. Like, I always had abrasions and cuts in my eye. So I'm like, I need to get my glasses back. And sometimes I still get insecure when wearing my glasses, because I'm like, dang, y'all really can't see how I really look. I can't really wear makeup with glasses, no makeup on right now, but I'm starting to really love it and really love myself. That's just a mini little story time before we start. And this video is actually going to be on things I did to make my life happier, and that's one of those things, you know, start to love myself. But without further ado, let's jump right into this video. I'm going to be giving you guys 10 things that I did to make my life happier and just run smoother. So growing up, I realized that the hardest thing for me to really do is obtain happiness. I always had little moments in my life where I would be happy, but I never really truly felt happiness, if you guys understand what I'm saying. I'll be happy for a short period of time, but it would be so easy for things to just come in my life and make me sad. And I still struggle with that today, and it still gets me sometimes, but I'm a lot better. I'm in a lot better space than I was a few years ago when I was a teenager. I could really say my 20s so far, I'm 21, my 20s so far is much happier than my teenage years. So let me give you guys some ways that I did it. Let's just jump into the video, because I'm just remembering it right now. The first thing I did was I stopped putting other people before myself. Now, this is something that I would do so much. When I say putting other people before myself, I mean before I did anything, I had to make sure I did stuff for other people. Let's say somebody wanted me to hang out, but that day I had to do stuff for myself. I needed self-care stuff. I needed to do homework. I would literally put all that to the side so I could be there for the other person. Or for example, if I had a friend that was really no good for me, was just used me, abused me, all of those things, I would sacrifice myself, my emotions, my feelings, just so I could be there for that person. And that's when I realized I was miserable doing that. You can't be happy if you're putting other people before yourself. Now, I'm not saying when it comes to having children or being married, because I don't really know about that. I'm not married, I do not have kids, so I'm not saying be selfish with your marriage, be selfish with your kids. But I am saying when it comes to just living your regular day-to-day life, it's okay to be a little bit selfish. I feel like there's such a negative connotation around the word selfish, and it kind of comes across as you don't care about anybody but yourself. But no, it means that you care about yourself. You love yourself enough to understand that if you're not your best, you can't be there for anybody else. And I had to really realize that if I'm not my best, I can't figure out and be there for other people. This played into so many aspects of my life. There'll be times where I would go outside looking crazy just because I was like, okay, I need to hurry up so I can be there for that person. I need to hurry up so I can do this for that person. And I'm not saying don't be there for your friends if they're going through stuff, but you guys understand the difference. It's one thing when your friend is going through a crisis or when your friend really needs you there. It's okay to be selfless in certain situations, but it's a whole other thing for you to completely put all your needs to the side to be there for that one person. This could play with relationships as well. A lot of the times, us as females, sometimes we sacrifice so much of ourselves for our significant other. And I understand that when you really are in love with somebody and you think you love somebody, you know, sometimes we sacrifice our careers without even realizing it. We sacrifice our own wants and our own needs just so we could be there and just so that person can be in our lives. Something that helped me do this was I set out a goal and what I wanted out of life. Write out what you want out of life, where you see your life. I understand goals change through our lives, but for the most part, our main goal in life, honestly, most of the time stays the same. Just how we're going to get it changes, but the goal in life always stays the same. So write that out. Write out what you want in life, and understand that certain things just won't align with that. And understand that if this doesn't align with that, that's just not my path. That's not you being selfish. That's you putting yourself, your goals, your career, God first, because you understand that you need to be good for yourself. When I set out and I wrote out everything I wanted out of life, what I wanted to be, what I wanted to achieve, and goals I had, I was like, okay, I could tell when certain people were just not for me, and I wasn't feeling guilty about it. A lot of the times I used to feel guilty, and now I'm like, I don't feel guilty at all. I don't feel guilty. I'm doing my own thing, and I do what I want, and I put myself first. The second thing I had to stop doing was talking down on myself. Now, sometimes I feel like I find myself still doing that, but as soon as I do, I snap myself out of it. Talking down on yourself will make you believe it. A lot of the times we are insecure because we tell ourselves that we're worthless. We tell ourselves that we're not worthy of anything. That's where low self-esteem comes from. Watch how you are talking to yourself. This is why journaling is so important. Journal out how you feel about yourself. Even if it's bad, I want you to just journal that out. Then go back and read it, and you'll really see how bad you were talking to yourself. You'll be like, wow, I was really talking to myself like I was worthless. I was treating myself like I wasn't worthy of anything. And also how you treat yourself. Talking to yourself and how you treat yourself fall into the same part. When I started taking better care of myself, mentally and physically, I felt so much better. Started working out, started eating better. Even when it came to my mental, I started telling myself, you know what, you are beautiful. Lately, I've been really insecure about the scar on my face from the car accident, and I found myself slowly talking down on myself until I told myself, you know what, you're unique and you are beautiful. Tell yourself those things. I know that sounds so cliche, but trust me, it works. When you just talk to yourself like how you would talk to your friend. I'm the type of person, I'm always hyping up my friends. I'm always hyping up other people. Why not do that for myself? A lot of the times, we always give other people all of the love. We always tell other people, oh, you look so beautiful, you're that girl. And yes, that's good. Hype other people up. But why are you not giving yourself that same grace? Why are you not telling yourself, you're that girl, period? I be going in the mirror, I be looking in the mirror, I'm like, you're that girl, period, okay? It's the little things. It's the little tiny things that I told myself. And it honestly motivated me to get up out of bed. It actually helped me get out of my depression. It motivated me to get up, get cute, just so I could tell myself you look cute. It motivated me to just tell myself that I am amazing inside and out. So I want you guys to do that as well. Talk to yourself nicely. Stop talking down on yourself. Number 3, I stopped letting old people back into my life. Now, this was the hardest thing for me to do, probably the hardest thing on this list, and it might be hard for y'all to do too. A lot of times we have people from back when we were younger that we did not have the best relationship with, but we're just so used to them. It's like a comfortability thing. Stop letting them back in your life. If it ended bad, trust me when I say it's not worth bringing back in. I know second chances is like, okay, you want to give somebody a second chance. It's not good to just cut people off completely and not let them back in. Some people change. Yeah, that is true. They might change, but at the end of the day, it still might not be for you. I'm the type of person where now, if God said they had to go, they have to go. I've learned so many lessons by letting people back into my life that were not meant to be there from the start. I let people back into my life and they stayed around for like 5 years. 5 years of me being miserable because I let them back in. When I could have just from the jump been like, you know what? I'm not letting them back in. I'm at peace right now. Notice when people start popping back up. It's usually when you're at peace, when you're doing good in your life. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for that test by letting them back in, because trust me, it's going to bring chaos. If you're already at peace, why do you think God would bring something that caused you chaos back in your life? No, God has better for you, bigger for you. And it's going to come in the form of somebody new experiences. We have to stop being scared of change and understand that change is not always bad, okay? Sometimes he's going to bring you better people into your life, and you just got to accept it, but you also have to let go of the others. And the way I did that was I didn't cut them all the way off in like a mean, rude way. I just slowly stopped being accessible. The best thing to say is, if they keep calling your phone, you know what you can say? Hey, I'm just going through something right now, so I'm just really trying to find myself again. Something like that, so they understand, okay, she's going to be isolated for a little bit. And then once you're isolated, eventually they'll just forget. Like, they'll be like, okay, I'm moving on with my life. You don't have to be rude with your cutoffs. You could do silent cutoffs, slow cutoffs, but do not let them back into your life. That falls into my 4th topic, which is stop dwelling on past situations as well as past people. Now, I said don't let past people back in your life, yes, but you also need to stop dwelling on the past situations. This will leave you in such a sad feeling. Once I stopped dwelling on situations that happened in my life and I stopped looking at it as something I regret, I felt so much better. A lot of the times when stuff happens in our lives, it's honestly a lesson. If that bad thing did not happen, if that lesson did not happen, honestly, you would not have learned from it. You probably would have been in the same predicament. There's so many situations where I would have still been in right now if it hadn't ended bad and I hadn't just left. So everything is really a test. Don't sit around and regret, and don't sit around in sadness. Okay, you can be sad for a little bit, yes, but don't spend years of your life dwelling on the past, because you'll look up one day and you won't be sad over it anymore, and you will regret. being sad on it anyways, because you'll waste so much time sitting and soaking in your sadness when you could be moving on to the next, telling God, you know what, thank you for this lesson. I learned from it. I understand why this happened to me. It didn't happen to me, it happened for me. I'm going to thrive and I'm going to move on and elevate. And that's what you guys need to do. So stop dwelling on the past, sis. Don't dwell on the past situations. Write about it, and then we're gonna let that go. The fifth thing I did was I stopped victimizing myself. This goes along with the past situations. In past situations, when people do stuff to us, a lot of the times we always victimize ourselves, and most of the time we are the victims because they did stuff to us. I'm not saying we're not, but I had to stop telling myself I'm the victim. I'm not a victim. I learned from that lesson, yes, that did happen to me, but that's not my story. That was a part of my story. It's okay to change. And once I understood that I'm a completely different person than I was then, I realized, okay, that's not even me. How am I the victim when that's not even me anymore? Maybe I was the victim, yes. People did do stuff to me, yes, but I'm not the victim. Stop telling yourself you're the victim. Stop victimizing yourself. Stop giving yourself a sob story like, oh, woe is me. Yes, stuff happened. Stuff happens. And stuff sticks with us for the rest of our lives. I'm not saying it's going to go away. That's a part of you, yes. But you are not the victim. That's a part of your story, but it's not you. We have to stop victimizing ourselves and making it seem like we are the victim or somebody is blatantly doing stuff to us. Yes, they might have done stuff to us in the past. Stuff might have really happened to us. We really were victims. But in your mind, don't victimize yourself, because you'll stay in that victim mindset. And it's harder to attract things you want in abundance if you're still stuck in that victim mindset. That also plays into how you're talking to yourself. If you're telling yourself that you're a victim, if you're telling yourself that you are the punching bag, then you really will start becoming it. You're not those things. You could change from it. That was a part of your story, but that is not your story. You're the main character, but that was not you anymore. You grew from it, you learned from it. You're not that person anymore. You changed, sis. Keep telling yourself that. Keep telling yourself, repeat after me, I am not the victim. I am no longer that person. I grew and I learned, and I am going to move on. Sixth thing I stopped doing was I stopped comparing myself. Now this is still hard for me to this day, so I'm not even gonna say I fully stopped, but as much as I used to compare myself in high school, I don't do that at all anymore. And I just want you guys to stop doing that too, because this is kind of a given. If you compare yourself, comparison is really the thief of joy. That saying is true. I used to compare myself so much to the point where I couldn't figure out who I was. I couldn't figure out what I like to do. Once you stop comparing yourself, it leaves leeway of just happiness. You could just really be who you truly are. It's hard to stop comparing yourself when everything on social media shows you different aesthetics and how you need to be. Don't put yourself in a box. Yes, you can take ideas from certain people. You could say, oh, I like the way this body looks. I'm going to try to work out so I can get my body how it needs to be for myself. Oh, I like her hair. I want to start growing my hair out so I can get my hair the way it needs to be for myself. When I was like, okay, I'm not going to compare. I'm going to get motivated, but I'm not going to compare. Use other people's lives maybe as motivation, but don't compare yourself, because you don't know what that person is going through. It could be somebody online that you think has the best life ever, and they're going through the worst. Look at the Cassie and Diddy situation. A lot of people praise celebrities and not understanding what they go through behind closed doors. And I pray for her. I feel so bad for everything she went through. That just goes to show you that everybody goes through stuff and everything is not what it seems. We all have our own difficulties. We all have our own insecurities. So why are you comparing yourself to somebody else? Why do you want someone else's life and you don't even know what they're going through? Just the same way they might be looking at you, wanting what you have, not knowing what you go through. So it's best to just appreciate what God gave you and what you have, and thrive for better for yourself. Don't thrive for better to be in competition, and don't thrive for better to be like somebody else. Remain humble, remain who you are. The sixth thing I stopped doing: stop relying on other people to make you happy. When I stopped relying on other people to make me happy, I became happy. Spend some time with just yourself so you can understand and realize what makes you happy outside of external things. What internal things will make you happy with just you? I realized music makes me happy, reading makes me happy, even watching shows make me happy. Getting to know myself just makes me happy. And it used to be compliments from other people that made me happy, male validation that made me happy, until I realized those things are temporary. And then once that goes away, I was sad again. I was actually distraught, and I was hurt, and I was feeling even worse about myself. So it wasn't until I realized, okay, I realized what makes me happy. I'm the only person that can make me happy and make my happiness stay. So don't rely on other people for your happiness. Stop looking for external validation and validate yourself. However that looks to you, however validating yourself looks to you, do that. Find a hobby, figure out what you love. The only way you're going to figure out what you like and what makes you happy is by spending time with yourself. Spend time by yourself. It's okay to be alone for a little bit. It's okay. I know a lot of people get nervous in the presence with just themselves and it's just quietness, but sometimes that's for the best. And you're not ever alone. You're with God. Spend time with yourself, spend time with God to get to know yourself. And that goes into the next thing, which is stop seeking outside validation and male validation, even if that's just validation from family and friends. Stop seeking that. Once I stopped seeking that and I was like, okay, it's cool to have compliments. It's cool for people to say that I'm doing good, but I'm not going to seek it. I was spending and wasting so much time seeking other people's validation, seeking other people's attention and approval that I didn't even realize what I wanted. I didn't even realize what I needed. So that goes into what I said with the first one, stop seeking it altogether. And the last thing I stopped doing to live a happier life was being low maintenance. And I'm the least bougie person ever. You can clearly see from my room, I'm really not the bougie type of person. But when I say low maintenance, I mean how people treat you. It doesn't always have to be money and how much a guy's spending on you. No, I'm not saying that. That doesn't even really matter. I'm talking about when it comes to how people treat you. I'm no longer going to let people treat me however they want to treat me. I no longer let people talk to me however they want to talk to me. And I'm okay with cutting people out of my life if they don't meet those requirements emotional. A lot of times we have physical requirements, but we need emotional requirements for people that enter our lives. And once I set those requirements, I felt so much better. I was so much happier with my life. So I'm like, okay, if you're gonna come into my life, you have to add value emotionally, not just materialistically. We need to stop always looking at the material stuff, because some of these people can provide material things for you, but the emotional stuff is trash, so you're going to be sad regardless. No, how are they providing for you emotionally? How are they treating you? How are they talking to you? That's what I mean by raising your standards, and just understand that you deserve better. You deserve to be talked to kindly. You deserve love. You deserve all of those things. So tell yourself that you deserve that by raising your emotional standards as well as your physical ones, yes, but raise your emotional standards. So that was the end of my video. It was a simple video on just things that I did to live a happier, healthier life. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I will see you guys next time. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.